Hello and welcome back. So in today's video, we are going to explore an interesting aspect of mobile development, which is implementing camera features or feature in our React Native application. So for this and more, let's dive into it. Alright, so we are going to start by first creating our React Native project. So you can go to the React Native documentation webpage and quick start. Okay, so you are just going to copy this and you are going to open our command prompt terminal. So I'm just going to type command prompt terminal and open it. Once I open it, I would like to navigate to desktop where I want to save the project. Okay, and I'm just going to paste npx create expo app and then the name of the app. So instead of my app, I want to call it camera. Okay, and I'm going to start. So it's going to create the React Native project for us, and it's going to take a couple of times. So I'm just going to pause the video right here. Once it's done, then we will continue. Alright, so our project is ready. So we can now navigate to camera. Okay, so cd camera, and then now we can open it in our code editor. So the code editor I'm going to be using is VS Code. So I'm just going to type code spacebar dot and then press enter to open it in my code editor for me. Alright, so this is how the project looks. Okay, and we have our node model, we have the assets where we'll be storing our assets, and then we also have the app.js file. So it is where we are going to write our codes here. Okay, and we have the app.json file, which contains the name, the version, and other stuffs. Okay, and we also have the package.json. Okay, so this also contains where it shows how we can even run our server. Okay, or start our application. So as you can see here, expo start. So in order to start our application, we are supposed to open our terminal. So I'm just going to open a new terminal. Let me pull it up. Okay, let me close this one. All right, so in our terminal we can now type expo or npx expo start. Okay, to start our application for us. So it's going to build our metro bundler for us, and we are supposed to use expo go to scan the QR code. So before that, I'm going to be using my physical device to run my application. Okay, so you can use that if you wish. You can also use web browser. Okay, but I'm going to use expo go. So you have to install expo go on your physical device and use it. All right, so our metro bundler is ready and our QR code is being set up. So we can just launch our expo application. Okay, and once you launch it, this is how it looks. So you can click on scan QR code to scan your QR code. Okay, so just to scan our QR code. All right, so scanning the QR code. Okay, so as you can see, our application is building. Okay, all right, so our application is ready, and as you can see, we have some text showing that open app.js to start working on your app. Right, so you go back to app.js, and this is where we can start. Okay, so we can just change the text to, let's say, okay, don't have. Okay, and let's save it. Oops. So once you save it, it's going to refresh, and now as you can see on our physical device, the don't have is now the text showing. Okay, so the next thing is to implement our camera feature. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the documentation and scroll down here, and as you can see, we have camera here. So I'm just going to click on camera, and here we have expo-camera. So it's a React Native component, okay, which help us to implement camera feature in our React Native application. Okay, so you can read about it, and you can also check the compatibility. So it's compatible with Android device, so that's why I chose to use my physical device. On Android emulator, it's not compatible, same as iOS emulator, but for Android device, iOS device, and web is compatible. Okay, so you can just now install the library. So I'm just going to click on copy, and I'm just going to go back to my code editor, and I'm going to open a new terminal. So just click on this plus button to open a new terminal for you, and you can now paste npx expo install expo-camera, okay, and run it. Okay, so whilst it's installing, we can now start with the implementation. So let's quickly go back to the web browser, and before the implementation, after installing, we have to come and check whether it really did the configuration for us. Okay, so expo-camera should be added to our app.json file. Okay, so when it does, then it means everything is okay. When it didn't, then we have to come and do it manually. Okay, so now let's go back to the usage, and I'm just going to copy the whole code. Okay, and then come back here and replace the whole code of app.js with the new one. Okay, and let me explain the code to you. So here we are importing the things will be needed. So our camera and camera type from our export camera. Okay, and then we have our use states. We still have some default components we are importing from React Native. So here we are setting our camera type to back. Okay, so by default it should be back, and then we can use set type to change the camera. Okay, camera to front. Okay, and we also have camera dot use uh, camera permissions. Okay, so this is to check whether we've um, grant permission to use camera in the application. Okay, so this is the small logic here. So here we are trying to say if we don't grant permission, that is, if permission is denied, we should show nothing. Okay, so we are just showing an empty view component. Okay, but if access is not yet granted, okay, so this is when you denied or you declined access. But now if access is not yet granted, then we should give the user some information, right, and give the user opportunity to grant permission. Okay, so here we need your permission to show camera. Okay, and we have grant permission here. So this by default this is supposed to show. Okay, and then once we've grant permission, we can now get our camera here. So we have our camera, and we have some view here to show our button. Okay, and some text. Okay, so this is basically what the code is doing. And we have toggle camera type here just to change the camera to either front or back depending on the current one. Okay, so I'm just going to save it, and as you can see on our physical device, we are having some issues. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back, and then I think before that we can check it right from here. So when you open here, you see we don't have the configuration being set up for us automatically, so we have to do it manually. So I'll just come here and then copy this. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that, and we are supposed to paste it inside our expo. So I'm just going to paste it here and make sure everything is on point. Good. All right, so I think with this it should work. So I'm just going to save it, and now let's go back and let's try and close the server and then run it again. Okay, so I'm just going to close this, stop the server, and type expo npx expo start again and run it. So hopefully this time around everything should work. All right, so our metro bundler is ready, so I'm just going to close this current one and then try and open it again. So you can just click on the camera, the old one, to just run it again. So let's wait and see. Okay, so as you can see, our camera is working. Okay, yeah, so this is the front camera, sorry, the back. Okay, so you can click on flip camera to flip to the front. Okay, yeah, so that's me. Yeah, so we've been able to implement our camera feature in our React Native application, right? And this is the goal. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, kindly click on the subscribe button, like this video, share with friends, and see you in the next one.